see how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Work with me, you know that.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. All right, let me get some shout outs real quick. We got Nick, we got Naeem, we got Julio, we rep AZ, Arturo, David, Booty Chan. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being in the chat. You can do me a massive favor, smack the like button here on your way in. Subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 19K now. Yeah, can't do it without you guys. So make sure you go and subscribe it up, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about today. Another day, more information by our Arizona Cardinals, and we're here to dissect, talking all things Arizona Cardinals. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about. Word came out earlier today that the Cardinals are now planning to set an interview with Matt Nagy. And I see somebody in the chat saying, hey, is this Torey Lovullo? No, it ain't Torey Lovullo. It sure as hell kind of looks like Torey Lovullo, manager of the Diamondbacks. No, it's not. That is offensive coordinator Matt Nagy for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let's talk about this real quick, right? Because in my latest video that I posted, I want to be very clear to kind of let you guys know how we're going to start doing things moving forward. On the short form content, I want to kind of give you guys information and just kind of go there. I'm not going to really give too much of an opinion on those short form content, but I want to deliver it because there's going to be news flying. So I want to deliver that as fast as I possibly can. So I'll give you my opinion on these live streams or maybe in the video, right? So let's talk about it real quick. I do have a poll question as well. My poll question to you guys right now in the chat is, how are you feeling with the coaching search so far? My options are it's good, I hate it, or good, but it could be better, right? So go ahead and cast your vote right now. We got over 64 of you guys right now watching, and we only got 36 votes. So make sure you go and cast your vote. I'm curious to figure out where you guys are standing with the current state of the coaching search right now, right? So let's talk about it. Matt Nagy, right? So Matt Nagy is the latest guy that the Arizona Cardinals have requested an interview for, and we're actually meeting with them. So it's not just like, hey, I put a request out, can you answer me? No, we already know that the request has been fulfilled. The scheduled interview with Matt Nagy is set to be on Friday. So today's Wednesday and 2 days from now. Now, we got another interview as well with Anthony Weaver as well, defensive coordinator from the Dolphins. I don't really know too much about Anthony Weaver, if I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to go ahead and ask around. I have a couple people that obviously cover the Dolphins, which I'm going to reach out to them. But right now, I don't really see Anthony Weaver as one of those guys that are like, oh, yeah, you're going to need to bring him in. Yeah, do it. I don't really see that. I remember when we were looking for the last head coach 3 years ago before Jonathan Gannon, I almost kind of felt like when Aaron Glenn was brought in, it kind of felt the same way, right? We're doing our due diligence. We're trying to flip over every stone, but I just never really felt like, yeah, that was going to be a guy that the Cardinals were going to bring in. Now, I could be shocked. I could be surprised. I could be banging my head into a wall and saying, damn, Anthony Weaver's the new freaking head coach, but I just don't see it realistically. Now, here, Matt Nagy, on the other hand, because of the experience of being a head coach at one point, he was a head coach with the Chicago Bears. Now, he didn't really have the best success over there with the Chicago Bears, but he has that experience under his belt, right? And this is kind of one of those things that I do expect the Cardinals to do. They're going to reach out to guys that are really good up-and-coming defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, and guys that have experience as a head coach. Matt Nagy has that experience. He's got the experience as a head coach under the tenure of the Chicago Bears, and he's been with a winning organization like the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Nagy. Sometimes you look at somebody and you say, okay, you're a real good coordinator, right? Maybe not coach, but you're a real good coordinator. But there is something to be said about, I'm not going to call him a reclamation project, but it's something to be said about somebody that was a former coach that is now wanting another opportunity and has learned from their mistakes before, right? I'm a big believer of second chances. I am. I'm a big believer of second chances, right? I mean, hell, you guys give me second, third, fourth chances all the time, sometimes with my crazy, idiotic takes, right? You guys give me those chances as well. I do believe that, they get the opportunity to maybe potentially redeem themselves as a head coach, right? Again, now, where do I stand in this situation? Is it realistic that the Cardinals are seeing Matt Nagy as a potential suitor? I do. I really do. I do think that they see him as a potential suitor, as a potential head coach for the Arizona Cardinals in 2026. Now, my opinion, here it comes. No, I'm gonna pass. If I was Monty Ford, and if by any chance he listens to this podcast, or if anybody within the Arizona Cardinals organization is listening to this podcast, I'm gonna tell you this right now. No, I know. I think there's something to be said, ladies and gentlemen, about um, it's just I don't think he's the right guy for the Cardinals, right? It's it's easier to succeed when you're in an organization as an offensive coordinator under Andy Reid with the Chiefs, and you have all the success in the world, right? I love that we're bringing in everybody we possibly can. I'm glad that we literally cast a crazy net out there, and whoever get caught, you're gonna rope that bad boy back. I love that. I love that we're doing that. I really do. But I would hope that the Arizona Cardinals truly don't bring him in. I'm glad that they are. I'm glad that they're talking to him. I really am. But one thing that I really want to see, right, as the Arizona Cardinals is what's equally important to me is who they're going to bring in as their staff, right? We as the Cardinals organization, we also got to realize the mistakes that we did, right? The way that this all you know shook out, right? I understand Monty Ford. There's some people out there that wanted him fired as well. And I'm kind of, it's not that I wanted Monty Ford fired, but if the Cardinals were to strip this down, completely start over, right? It's harder to do it that way. I almost kind of see the Jonathan Gannon signing was we were kind of left with him, right? Because keep in mind that January, most of January, we were looking for our general manager, right? We were looking for our general manager. And right now is January 7th. Yesterday was January 6th. And look how many people, look how many coaches became available. Those are coaches that if we fired Monty for, we wouldn't be able to put our hands in that cookie jar. We wouldn't be able to bring those guys in because our first mindset would be like, hey, we got to focus on, a general manager first. That's the first key to success. Get your general manager and then head coach. I feel like Jonathan Gannon, unfortunately, was kind of left to us. And then we said, oh, he played for a Super Bowl team. Okay, bring him in. Yeah, that works. Come on in. I feel like he was just left. Nobody. I promise you, nobody had Jonathan Gannon on their list as top 5 head coaches. Now, when it all shook out and we were getting closer and the Super Bowl ended and it all made sense. Oh, yeah, he's the guy. Cool, cool, cool. But it felt like he was just kind of leftovers. I'm sorry to say, but it kind of felt like he was a little leftovers. Now that Monty Ford is staying, getting a chance to actually pick another guy and spearheading this, I do feel like it's the right move. I really do. Obviously, receipts. I'm taking every receipt down I can for Monty Ford because you've been given a second chance. You've been given an opportunity to come out here and say, okay, let me pick the coach starting January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, when you get the crops of these guys that are potentially coming in, right? That I feel like is a better timeline because, like I said before, if you fired Monty, what we would be focusing on right now is general manager, not head coaches. And what happens is those head coaches that are coveted, those defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, they get plucked real quickly, especially if they're really good. So I'm cool with it. I like it. Let Monty roll. Let Monty spearhead this whole attack. And I do believe right now the Cardinals are going to be in a really good situation. But last guy, or the latest guy that we ended up hearing, was Matt Nagy. Am I in on it? I'm okay. No, stay over there. Stay at the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm good. But I do want to make sure that I note that he is a possibility, right? He is a possibility for the Cardinals to potentially bring in as a head coach. I mean, obviously, if they're interviewing him and they have it scheduled for Friday, they at least have a little interest, right? So for what it's worth, there's that. The other guy that we talked about is going to be Anthony Weaver. defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. I don't really see anything that coming out of that. Seriously, really, I don't really see anything coming out of it. But something to obviously note. Now, one thing that's shocking to me, right? One thing that's shocking to me, and I'm seeing the people here in the chat. Kevin Stefanski. Who's shocked that Kevin Stefanski is at least not brought in by the Cardinals? I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to come out here and sit here and say, "Oh, Steven Stefanski, you gotta get Steven Stefanski. That's the guy right there." No, I'm not going to come out here and jump on my soapbox and say that. No, I'm not. But I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm actually kind of shocked that the Arizona Cardinals haven't put a request in for a said Steven Stefanski. I'm shocked at that. That's one thing I am shocked at. The Arizona Cardinals right now need to turn over every stone, right? Or turn over every stone. And I'm surprised that they haven't at least requested to meet with them. Is he probably one of the top 3 guys with most experience right now? Yeah, 100%. 100%. 2-time head coach of the year. Did some pretty good things with the Browns. Of course, the last 2 years hasn't been very good. And let's be real, a lot of fans of the Browns, they wanted him gone since last year, right? They wanted him gone since last year. So for what it's worth, there's that. He is intriguing. Like I said, I'm not going to jump on my soapbox saying things like, "Oh, yeah, you got to go after and get him." But I'm actually very shocked that the Cardinals haven't scheduled something with him. Now, maybe they know something. Maybe they know that the Giants are going to sign why did I call him Steven Stefanski? Kevin Stefanski. Good Lord. Kevin Stefanski. I think the S's trip me up. I'm always like, "Oh, Steven." It's not Steven. It's Kevin Stefanski. Right? So I'm a little shocked that they haven't at least intrigued or thought the idea to potentially bring him in. Just noting that. Now, one other thing that I want to note as well. One other thing. This came out literally 20 minutes, or actually during me recording my videos, because this whole morning I've been doing a lot of content up the yin yang, and I apologize up front that you're getting all these notifications, oh this, but hey man, this is the time that all this news is coming out, and if I feel like it's something that we can have a conversation about, or something that we can engage and have some sort of discourse, I'm going to do it. We're going to have conversations, because the Cardinals have a lot of big question marks heading into 2026. Quarterback, head coach, 3rd overall pick, free agency. The I guess studs is there for this team, but you can add more pieces, and we can be a competitive team next year as long as we get the right appropriate guys in here. So a little shocked about Kevin Stefanski not, being reached out to, but maybe, like I said, maybe they know already. Maybe they know, hey, we're not going to touch him with the 6-foot pole. He's going that way, and we're not even going to waste our time. Maybe they know. But now that the John Harbaugh situation is in, there's some real serious rumors out there that the Giants might get John Harbaugh, or at least he's favored to go to the Giants. I'm not going to sell my hopes quite yet until I see pen to paper that he's truly going there. Of course, I want Michael Bidwell to be calling his agent. Of course I do. Of course, Monty, Michael Bidwell, whoever does the calling. Of course I do. But right now, we're just kind of waiting. We don't have any reports yet that John Harbaugh has met or interviewed or set an interview with the Arizona Cardinals. The only thing that we have right now is what Adam Schefter said. And Adam Schefter said that per his agent, that 7 teams reached out to him about John Harbaugh, his client. And of course, when we do a process of elimination, you're like, okay, well, 7 teams. You got 7 teams looking for head coaches. Maybe one of them is the Cardinals. Maybe, right? Now, this is another thing I want to talk about right here. Right here. This came out about an hour ago. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but this one came out about an hour ago. Adam Schefter reports former Falcons head coach Raheem Morris now has confirmed head coaching interviews in the next week with Cardinals, Giants, and Titans. So, there you go. Stone unturned. Stone unturned. There it is. Cardinals are going to continue to try to bring in as many people as they possibly can. Now, one thing that I find awesome, cool, because now the wave is starting to kind of come through. I remember very vividly, and obviously shout out to the people that have been rocking with me for as long as you have, or been watching my videos for the last 2-3 months. I've been talking about the head coaching search for maybe before December, maybe even midway through December, I made multiple videos about guys that I really want the Arizona Cardinals to potentially get. I gave you your affordable options, and I gave you your guys that are potentially, hey, maybe that's not going to be very affordable for us, right? But I gave you options, right? I gave you options. So one name that I'm starting to hear a lot now from guys either via Twitter or via the radio station Arizona Sports, or maybe they're just social media in general, right? Is offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur. His name has been mentioned because obviously when you're under the tree of Sean McVay, you're going to pay attention. You're going to pay attention to that. Now, I don't know if Mike LaFleur is quite ready for a head coaching job. And let's be real. If you're Mike LaFleur, would you leave Sean McVay for anybody else? No, you wouldn't, right? No, you wouldn't. But Mike LaFleur is now a name that people are talking about, right? Peter Schrager of, I think, ESPN now? I always get confused. He was at the NFL Network. Now he's at ESPN now. Peter Schrager said this 6 minutes ago. Ready for this? 6 minutes ago. And I mentioned Mike LaFleur 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? And I'm so glad now people are starting to catch up because you got to pay attention. Peter Schrager says this: a name that keeps coming up, can't be requested yet, when offensive head coach candidates are being mentioned, is Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. And yes, that's the brother of Matt LaFleur. But another name with some legit buzz is Rams assistant Nate Schilhays, who interviewed with Jacksonville and Tampa last year for an OC job a year ago. He's 35. But Mike LaFleur is being talked about. That's cool. That's awesome. I personally do like the idea of maybe bringing in a Mike LaFleur. But if I'm being realistic, I don't know if he's quite ready for a head coaching position. Also, keep in mind on the other side of the coin is the fact that he doesn't call plays, right? It's Sean McVay that calls the plays. But anybody that you can get any talent from that tree, and I don't know why I use this gesture. I don't even. But any of those guys that you can go ahead and get talent from that tree, you probably would actually think about it, right? You would listen. So it's fascinating. It's very, very fascinating. Michael LaFleur now being talked about. I'm actually very surprised that Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator over there, is not being talked about very much. I really do like the Rams, both coordinators, but I just don't think they're quite ready yet. Maybe next year their names will start kind of floating around a little bit more, but I'm glad they're starting to kind of pick up steam. But Clint Kubiak, right? Clint Kubiak is a guy that a lot of Cardinal fans, including guys in this chat right now, really would like Clint Kubiak here. I mean, you look at what he's doing with Sam Darnold, you want a little taste of that, right? You want a little bit of, okay, give me that. Give me some of that magic over here. I get that. I respect it. My guy right now, if the Cardinals want to go the cheap, I'm not going to say cheap option. Okay, let me refrain that. If they want to go on the option or the route of affordability, that's the better term. Affordability is the better term. And not taking a big swing at Harbaugh, which, let's be real, we all want Harbaugh. Everybody and their mother, the Giants, Titans, Cardinals, everybody who's got a head coaching vacancy. I even heard there's head coaches that probably could be on the hot seat now because of Harbaugh. I heard something about Miami is really considering bringing in Harbaugh and potentially maybe just booting out Mike McDaniel over there. Like it's this news is causing mayhem. Let's just put it, this news about Harbaugh is causing mayhem. And rightfully so. It should. It absolutely should cause mayhem because this is big, big news. Of course, I want the Cardinals to get John Harbaugh as well. But if there is a guy that's more affordable, I would like the Cardinals to go after Robert Saleh. I really would. There's something about Robert Saleh that I look at him, and it's not even to mention that he reminds me of the guy from 300, but I look at him and I know that what he's done with that defense, with all the injuries that he's had, he could make a roster really, really work out for him. And if you're going to come out here and say, are you worried about the Jets? I mean, I'm a little worried about the Jets situation, but and I'm assuming the Jets talk to us or talk about us the same way I'm just going to talk about the Jets. I'm going to put it this way. It's the Jets, right? It's the Jets. The Jets this year have not recorded an interception. The Jets this year have, if you talk about a team that's cursed, I don't think of the Cardinals first. I think of the Jets first. And honestly, when I'm thinking about potentially moving off of Kyler, I think of the Jets as a potential team we can fleece, right? Because they just don't make the smartest decisions. Now, yes, I know the Cardinals don't either, but I just don't think the Jets are the smartest light bulbs out there. I think there's a lot of money behind that market, but that owner just can't get out of his own way. Feel the same way about Michael Bidwell, but I digress. I really do like Robert Saleh. I really do. I think that if there is one guy that could truly deserve an opportunity to become a head coach again, it would be Robert Saleh to me. Now, of course, I like Brian Flores as well, but I just don't see it happening with Brian Flores because obviously the situation that's happening with the things off the field, but you never know. Brian Flores coming in here will really, really shake it up. It would shake up this entire situation that's happening. It would shake up the building if you bring Brian Flores in here. A guy that's what's the word? He doesn't play games. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't play games. So right now, the latest update that we have, right? Robert Saleh, although we requested, there's nothing in play about him actually being interviewed with the Cardinals yet, right? There's that. Now, another thing to note as well, and we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. What happens if Mike Tomlin does get booted out? What if Mike Tomlin again takes his team to the playoffs but gets a first round exit? What happens then? Does the Steelers decide to move off of him? And now are we talking about a world where we got John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin available to these teams that decided to make coach changes? I don't know. It's just there's so many moving parts right now, and it's so damn fascinating. It really is. It really is. We rep AZ in the chat says, yes, I love Saleh's fight. I do too. I do too. And let's talk about Gannon. And I know I don't really like talking about the former guys that were here, but like who got pissed off with Gannon the last like half season? Who got pissed off with this? Everybody and their mother got pissed off, and I saw it at least 10, 15 times. They're like, I'm so sick of his nonchalant, stoic personality. Now, at one point, it was cool. It was cool when you're like, oh, you're even keel. That's cool. You never get too high. You never get too low. But this is the time to get very, very high because the Cardinals were on a 9-game losing streak. And he just continuously did this and made no changes. He says, I still trust everything here. I still trust everything that's going on with this Arizona Cardinals organization. I do believe he thought he was going to get a year 4. I truly do believe he thought he was going to get a year 4. And he had time to get himself a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. But you can't go 3-14. You can't go on a 5-game losing streak, win a game, and go on a 9-game losing streak. You can't. I don't care that the games are close. It's about win-losses, just like Michael Bidwell said. And Monty said it all came down to wins and losses. And it just wasn't enough. 15 wins in 3 years. You're averaging 5 wins a year. 5 wins a year is that's what you're averaging a year. It's not good enough. That's not good enough to be in this division. That's not good enough to be in this NFL. And I'm glad the Cardinals went this direction. But like I said before, Robert Saleh. So if we don't get John Harbaugh, which I know it sounds like a pipe dream, and I see multiple comments saying, well, why would John Harbaugh want to come here, right? Why would John Harbaugh want to come to this organization? Well, I'll leave Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell for the sales pitch. Let them sell it. Let them sell it because that's who they're going to have to try to. They're going to have to try to sell it. They will. They're going to have to try to sell the idea that, hey, you want to come here? Guess what? We'll give you power. We'll give you a little bit more power because let's be real. Monty Ossenfort right now at the position, we're all talking about if he doesn't fix is what we want him gone too, right? Maybe we do live in a world. Let's just say we live in a world where Monty Ossenfort says, hey, you want power? We'll give you power. We'll give you power here. Keep in mind, this is my first year, buddy. But we can have conversations back and forth. But if you want the power, you got the power, right? And then let's not to mention, look at this beautiful state we live in. Good God, the weather is wonderful. You want to play in a dome? You want to play next to your brother? Hey, check it out. It's a 45-minute plane ride. It's a 6-hour drive if you want to do that. Check it out. It's beautiful here. Now, obviously, don't go outside in the summer weathers, but hey, you probably are rich enough to get yourself a house somewhere else during the summer. You'll be all right. That's up to them to sell it, right? But there's a lot of things that could be really good about Phoenix, Arizona. People don't think of it, but that's well, then why are they coming here? Then why are people coming here in droves? Because I kid you not, we're top 5 fastest growing cities within the last like 3 or 4 or 5 years. Like we're one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, right? People want to talk crap about us, but they want to move on over here. You know what I mean? Like it's very, very nice place. It is. Here we go. We got a $5 donation coming our way. We got Jose with the $5 donation. Appreciate you, Jose. Thank you so very much. He says this: Saleh knows the West. He held Kubiak's offense to 13 points with McDonald's workers. If the 49ers had a chance to get the 1 seed, was because of him. I like that. I like that. I remember very vividly that a lot of 49ers fans were ecstatic that Saleh was coming back. They were willing to build up a statue of Saleh. They were willing to build because they were bringing him back. Now, yes, D'Amico Ryans was also there as well. D'Amico Ryans is flourishing right now in the Texans. Flourishing in the Texans right now. He's doing a great job. I do believe Saleh can be one of those guys as well. But guess what? Same thing with Harbaugh. And same thing with any other coach that comes out. Obviously, it depends on experience, right? Of course, you're going to give more power to a Harbaugh than you would give to, let's say, an example, an Anthony Weaver, right? You wouldn't give all the power, or at least relinquish power for an Anthony Weaver. You would do that for a Harbaugh. For Saleh, because he's got that experience, and I think most NFL believe that it was more Jets than him, that he does deserve another crack. He doesn't deserve another crack at the opportunity. And I agree. I 100% agree. So yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks, Jose. $5 donation. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and end the poll right here. We got over 120 votes. Thanks, guys. 120 votes. I said, how are you feeling about the coach search so far? 9% says, I hate it. Okay. Maybe those are those John Harbaugh guys that haven't voted yet. Now 10% says, I hate it. Okay. 46% says good. 44% says good, but could be better. All right. So far, I could honestly say that I think most part everybody is pretty confident with what the Cardinals are doing so far. I agree. I remember people saying that this is not going to be a good coaches. Like if you want to fire Gannon, who's going to be the best guy out there? Well, guess what? I mean, the guys that I've been talking about for 3 weeks now, like are now starting to kind of come up, right? They're now starting to kind of come up. Mike McCarthy is now interviewing with teams. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but Mike McCarthy is now interviewing with teams. I believe it's, who did he interview? I think it was the Giants. Yeah, Adam Schefter reported 6 hours ago. Adam Schefter reported 6 hours ago that the Giants now have arranged a head coach interview next week with former Cowboys and Packers and Super Bowl winning head coach Mike McCarthy per source. So Mike McCarthy, which is also my list, he's now in this coaching cycle, right? He's now in this coaching cycle. So for what it's worth, there's that. But yeah, no, New York Giant fans right now are absolutely going crazy on the internet right now because they think they can get Harbaugh. And honestly, with the big market like New York, I can see why they're getting excited about that. I can see it. Definitely, I can see it. But no, man, it's big news, man. It's big news, big information, and it's ever changing. Every single day, every single hour, every single minute, it's changing. And one thing also to note as well, I'm not sure if you guys saw this or if you guys even care, but there was a report out there that Ty Simpson, and the reason why I'm talking about this, obviously, because of draft, Ty Simpson has informed Alabama of his intention to turn pro. So Ty Simpson has declared for the draft. Ty Simpson has declared for the draft, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if that moves the needle for you guys, but Ty Simpson is now going to be a part of the NFL draft. At one point, I saw him as a top 10 prospect because what he was doing in the beginning of the year was absolutely magnificent. Unfortunately, playoffs came. The end of the season was a little rough for him as well. I don't really see him as a top 10 quarterback anymore, but maybe a late round first, like a late first round pick, maybe a second round pick. I could definitely see him go somewhere around that realm. Or if he absolutely impresses in pro days, or if he absolutely impresses in like the combine, he might. You never know. You never know. Remember Jackson Dart? We were talking about Jackson Dart all last year in the beginning before, and then his name popped up. Oh, now he's all of a sudden a first round pick. So it's crazy. It really is. But here we are. Right here we are. Let's take a couple comments here in the chat. We got Chris. What's up, Chris? I said, okay. I think maybe you said something earlier. Let's go with Mark. Mark in the chat. Where are you at? This chat is going wild. It's going real quick. Okay, Mark in the chat says Cardinals absolutely can't wait around to get their head coach. You don't want to get in the bottom of the barrel because of what you get is burnt crud. They waited too long when they got Gannon. Crud. Yeah, agree. This is what I talked about a little earlier in the stream. 100% agree. I don't think the timeline of when the Cardinals fired Cliff and when they fired Keim, their first order of operation was they needed to get a GM, right? They took January to get a GM. After the Super Bowl, they ended up getting Gannon, right? So January, which is when the month we are now, right? January. This is when usually people hire their next head coach. This is the month, but the Cardinals were delayed because they needed to get their general manager. So I'm cool with the Cardinals keeping their general manager and Monty Ossenfort because of the crop of guys that you do need to jump on. First things first, right? Just like my guy Mark in the chat said, you got to go after him and you can't wait. You need to be aggressive. You need to go after the guy that you want to get, right? So now that leads me to believe, has the Cardinals actually reached out to, to John Harbaugh, right? When is the interview starting to happen for John Harbaugh? Because I do believe, right, because Adam Schefter reported it, that he's favorite to probably go to New York Giants. But until pen to paper, I'm still keeping hope alive. Until I see pen to paper, I'm still keeping hope alive. I would love nothing more than to bring John Harbaugh here, right? Imagine the head coaches in the NFC West. Sheesh. Imagine the head coaches in the NFC West if you bring John Harbaugh here. Good God. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, and John Harbaugh in the NFC West. Man, you're talking about a powerhouse of head coaches in one division. It's nuts. Absolutely insane. Big question here, right? We all know we want him. We all know John Harbaugh is the creme de la creme, the biggest one we want, right? We all know that. Couple things need to happen in order for that to happen. In order for that to happen, this is what needs to happen. Michael Bidwell needs to step away from being too involved, relinquish a little power that he holds right now with his organization. I get it. When you own it, it's your baby, and you want to be involved. I get that. But if you bring in somebody like last cycle, Sean Payton, or a Tomlin, or maybe a Harbaugh, you got to relinquish that power. Now, will he do it? I don't know. And on top of that, you're going to have to be willing to pay him. We're talking about $17, $18, $19 million a year. It ain't going to be cheap. It is not going to be cheap one bit. It's going to be expensive. But I almost can kind of tell here, this is going to be one of those things that he sees as an investment, right? Because if you bring in Harbaugh, you know how many season tickets will sell out like this? It doesn't matter. The people that are crying and talking about, oh, the rising of the prices are getting way too high. What are you doing, Michael Bidwell? What's happening? They won't care. They will throw the money and say, Michael Bidwell, take my money. Because why? Because John Harbaugh covets that, right? But he's got to be seeing this as, hey, this could be a long-term beneficial for me, right? If I pay this coach, it will help out economy in Glendale. It'll help out ticket sales. It would help out because we got faith again. We got hope. You couldn't sell as a year 4 of Gannon. You couldn't. And I'm glad they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't because nobody would have bought it. Nobody would have bought it, ladies and gentlemen. But for the new people that are just joining in, do me a massive favor, ladies and gentlemen. We got over 100 of you guys watching. Smack the like button, y'all. Appreciate you guys for being here. Smack the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 19K. Can't do it without you guys, so smack the like button. But for the new people that are just joining in, a couple different names popped up this morning. One of them being Matt Nagy. I already gave my opinion on it a little earlier. I'm not going to re-say it. But Matt Nagy is now part of the coaching search for the Cardinals. We have a scheduled interview with him this Friday, along with Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. That's also scheduled for this Friday as well. So we got two people that were meeting this Friday. And then this one kind of came out of nowhere, but this happened about an hour ago, maybe about an hour and a half ago now, that the Cardinals have requested to meet with Raheem Morris, former head coach of the Falcons, which to his own respected right, in 2 years, 16 wins in 2 years compared to Jonathan Gannon's 15 wins in 3. Yeah, I mean, he seems like an overall better head coach than Gannon was. So for what it's worth, Cardinals are already kind of just going through it all, right? Leaving no stone unturned. And they're bringing in everybody they can. But just like my guy Mark in the chat says, you got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. Herbert in the chat. What's up, Herbert? John Harbaugh is washed up. Ravens got rid of him for a reason. Kubiak is the best pick. He's young and fresh. I don't believe this narrative. And I'm highlighting this comment because I love everybody's difference of opinion. I really do. I love everybody's difference of opinions when it comes down to it. And that's one this channel is, I'm not going to say founded on, but that's why this channel is great, because I love to listen to everybody, and everybody's got a really good fair. I don't believe the narrative that Harbaugh's washed up. No, I don't. I believe that the organization made a decision because they chose Lamar Jackson over Harbaugh. Now, I did see the rumor that came out that said that Harbaugh didn't want to cut ties with his offensive coordinator, and it became messy, and they decided to part ways, right? I do believe that that is part of it. But I do believe truly that Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh came to a point where they just weren't seeing eye to eye with each other anymore, right? And the fan base has been talking about it. I've seen content for at least over 2 or 3 weeks now, right? Guys that do what I do, but for the Baltimore Ravens, they were saying things like, yo, we're seeing articles out there that are slandering Lamar. We're seeing all these things because you're either Team Lamar or you're Team Harbaugh. Something was going to happen. And because Harbaugh didn't make the playoffs, it's easier to get rid of a coach than it is a player. It's just what it is, right? So I think they chose Lamar. I think they chose Lamar over Harbaugh. Stupid decision? Maybe. But I don't think he's washed up. I think he's a really, really good coach, a winning coach, and can change a trajectory of a franchise. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, great comment, though. Appreciate you, man. Thanks, Herbert. Let's move on here. We got, is it Monarch? Let's just call you Monarch. We got a $5 donation coming our way from my guy Monarch. What's up, man? Appreciate the super chat. He says this.
Another one.
Actually, that wasn't loud enough. Let's do another one for...
Another
there
one.
you go. We got Monarch on the chat. Says, if we get Harbaugh and Michael Bidwell was willing to put up money, hell yeah. Realistically go all in on Kubiak to make SD a top quarterback. Gotta go for that guy. To make SD, to make SD a top quarterback, gotta go for that guy. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza. Who's SD? To make SD, gotta go for that guy. So you're saying Kubiak is the guy you want? I respect it. I respect it, 100%. I'm not the biggest Kubiak guy. I'm not, but I can get behind it, right? Like I said, I'm not the biggest Kubiak. To me, it's not like you have to go offensive coordinator. You went defense and it didn't work out. I'm not that guy, right? I'm not high on Kubiak myself, but if he's here, I'll get behind it. I'll give him the opportunity to see what he can do with the Arizona Cardinals, to be real with you. To me, Robert Saleh is the guy that I want. And I get it. We went from a defensive coordinator to the next defensive coordinator, right? I get it. But I still would love to bring in a Robert Saleh. But I get it. The people out there that want Kubiak, offensive mind guy, makes sense. I get it, right? But I appreciate the super chat, man. I get it. It's all wishful thinking at this point. And it is. It's a pipe dream. John Harbaugh feels like a pipe dream, especially when you're smaller markets because of Michael Bidwell's financials. It sucks that a lot of us don't feel like we can realistically get him, but I'm keeping the dream alive, man. I'm keeping the hope and dream alive to me right now. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. If it happens, I'm cool with it. If Kubiak comes here, I'm cool with it. But also keep in mind, they're in the playoffs, right? Salah's in the playoffs. Kubiak's in the playoffs. So in order for them to not get distracted from these head coaching jobs, they need to focus in, laser focus. So whoever gets kicked out, if Saleh and the 49ers lose to the Eagles this weekend, hey, Saleh's available. Saleh's available to meet with if the Cardinals wanted to go that direction, if the 49ers lose to the Eagles this weekend. Now, Seahawks have a bye week because the first seed. So we'll see. It's a little harder to meet with Kubiak, but we'll see, man. I'm excited. I really am. I'm really excited to see what the Arizona Cardinals decide to do. I can get behind Kubiak, but I do favor Saleh just a little more, in my opinion. Jersey in the chat says I'm cool with Mike McCarthy too. I'm not mad with Mike McCarthy. Right now, the latest news that we got is Mike McCarthy met with, or he's going to meet with the Giants. That he's going to meet with the Giants, I think, next weekend. So for what it's worth, man, the Giants are poaching big names, right? Kevin Stefanski, Mike McCarthy, John Harbaugh's linked to them. So they got these big names right now. Well, the Cardinals are Clint Kubiak, Robert Saleh, which I feel like those are the big names. Then you got Raheem Morris, Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy, Thomas Brown, and then Anthony Weaver. Like I said, I don't really speak about Anthony Weaver too much because I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think Anthony Weaver's going to happen, if I'm going to be real with you. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Here we go. Another one. Monarch with another one. He said, F it. He said, take my money. And he's a channel member. Woo! Monarch's doing it right, man. Channel member, appreciate you. And dropping another $4.99 donation. He says this: if Saleh failed with the Jets, why would he succeed with another poverty franchise? Fair. Call it wishful thinking. And it is what it is, right? I think we are better than the Jets. I know. We're both poverty. I get it. I think we're better than the Jets. I think we have a team that if you bring in the right play caller, whether that's Kyler or not, because obviously with a different head coach and a different scheme, he might look better than when he did against the, what's his name? Under Drew Petzing's offense. You got Trey McBride. I was going to say Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not Marvin anymore. It's Michael now. Michael Wilson as your number one wide receiver. You bring in a dynamic running back in the draft or somebody via free agency like a Breece Hall. This team could be very good. It really can. Like, this team could be very, very good. But I get it. The national perception is that we are a poverty franchise. But I don't know. Like, a lot more people have much more bad things to say about Woody Johnson than Michael Bidwell. I think Michael Bidwell wants to win. I just don't think he's that smart. And I'm not sure if that's a compliment or a backhanded compliment, but I do think Michael Bidwell is a better owner than Woody Johnson is. And I think he truly wants to win. Talking about Michael Bidwell, I just don't think he's making the smart decisions. Whether that's financially or just clueless, I don't know. But I get it. We're going to be known as a poverty franchise. I get that. But I get the concern, right? I get it. I do understand it. I'm just leaning on the hope that he's going to be able to do it real good with the Cardinals. Now, obviously, it depends, though. It depends on who they bring in as an offensive coordinator, as a defensive coordinator as well. That's going to be a big question because I think that's equally important. Who are you going to bring in? When Jonathan Gannon told us we're bringing in Petzing and Rallis, very inexperienced guys, Michael Bidwell and Monty should have said, nah, we're good. We're good. But they were left with Gannon. Let's be real. They were left with Gannon. They had to get Monty first. A lot of the crop of the guys already went quick, right? We were left with Gannon. He was not in anybody's list. He was not on anybody's list, but here we are. Claymore in the chat says Monty C is already hot. 100%. He's fighting for his job. He's saving. He's looking for his. But I know it's all going to come down to the financials. It's going to come down to will Michael Bidwell do it at the end of the day. I mean, of course, it's easy for me to say, yeah, write the check, right? Write the check. It's easy for me to say that because I'm not the one paying that said check. But yeah, man, I would love Harbaugh to be here, 110%, and I would love Saleh to be here. He's my top guy right now, but let's see. Let's see how it all shakes out. Let's go with what's up, Ryan? Ryan says, is there anything... Where'd it go? Ryan says, is there anything to read into the Vance Joseph was the first confirmed interview? Not really. Honestly, I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I don't see Vance Joseph as a guy coming back. I really don't. I don't read anything into Cliff Kingsbury. There are some Cardinal fans saying, "Oh, bring Cliff Kingsbury back as an offensive coordinator." That bridge is sailed. That bridge is sailed. I wouldn't look too much into the Vance Joseph thing, to be honest with you. I could be wrong. But I don't know. I wouldn't look too much into it. I think the Cardinals have interest because they know him, right? They have the familiarity with him. But I just don't see it, man. I really don't. Let's go with Monarch again. Monarch saying this: between an almost $300 million cap and $20 million coach is tough for a guy that made his money from only the NFL. It's fair. Maybe he could sell a jet. Maybe he could sell multiple of his jets that he ended up buying on our expense. And I'm talking about the people who bought season tickets and tickets for the games. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. All right, we got my guy here, Jose, coming up clutch. Y'all, Jose and Monarch over here, man. They're over here funding this. You guys just bought me lunch. Appreciate y'all. Jose in the chat saying this: people forget Jets had one of the best defenses. There you go. There you go. Keep in mind, defensive coordinator, right? Who would he bring? That's what I'm curious about. Like, if he does become a head coach, who was his offensive coordinator? Now I'm kind of curious who was his offensive coordinator. Who was his offensive coordinator? I got to look into that. Does anybody know on the top of their head who was Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator? I got to look into that. But yeah, I mean, he runs a really good defense, man. I mean, he's a really good defensive-minded guy. His passion, his ability to, I guess, work with what the 49ers gave him with all the injuries, I think he's done pretty well for himself. I really have. But appreciate you. Jose with another $1.99. Thank you so very much. Monarch coming again with the $1.99. He's saying this: Joseph for the Rooney Rule. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. Unfortunately, we are kind of in that time of the world where I don't know. Yeah, we know how it works. But yeah, I wouldn't look too much into Vance Joseph, to be real with you. I don't think he really made a big impact for Cardinal fans to say, yeah, let's go. But you never know at the end of the day. There we go. We see another Michael LaFleur in the chat. There you go. JBH saying Michael LaFleur worked with Saleh in New York. Oh, so was it Michael LaFleur as his head coach? Oh, was his coordinator? Was it? Ooh. You want to call plays here, Michael LaFleur? Then we get the best of both worlds? Saleh for the Rooney Rule. Oh, it was Hackett. Y'all tripping. It was Hackett. Oh, that's terrible. It was Hackett. Because I remember the linking of Aaron Rodgers. It was Hackett. Right? So he was, so 2023 to 2024. When was Robert Saleh fired? Well, it wasn't all the years. Okay. I need to look into that. I think Hackett was a part of it. I need to do some research. But yeah, that's going to be a good question. So yeah, Hackett was a part of the Saleh regime when he was there, because Robert Saleh was there with the Jets for 3 years, 2021 to 2024. Give him another chance. Give him another chance. But like I said, I'm not mad at Kubiak. If Kubiak comes in here, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. Roger and Hackett were friends. Yep. True. How did I forget about that? And all these years just completely go woo, and you're just like, oh snap, completely forgot that happened. Um, Yeah, I'm gonna have to do research here on my own end. I'm not trying to get you guys to do work. No, I'm gonna have to do research on my own end here. But no, I still trust Robert Saleh to do it. Claymore in the chat says Sean Payton did not want to come here. Yeah, I mean for whatever reason, right? We weren't able to afford him. You wanted to have a Kyler. Cardinals didn't want him to for whatever reason. Wally World money was just way too rich, right? They were going to pay him what probably the Cardinals weren't going to. So like let's call it like it is. So it is what it is. But yeah, for the new people that are just joining in, man, we got over 100 of you guys here, pretty sustainably constant here. So do me a massive favor. Smack the like button if you guys can do me that massive favor. Smack it up. Right now, we're sitting with 54 likes here with over 100 of you guys right now on the YouTube side. This is the big question mark out there. What are the Cardinals going to do, right? A lot of people requested for interviews. 2 scheduled interviews that we know of so far. And one of them being Matt Nagy that we talked a little bit about earlier today. I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Nagy, but he's set to meet with the Cardinals on Friday, and then Anthony Weaver on Friday as well. So defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins. So for what it's worth, there's that. Carter coming up with another $4.99. Woo!
Another one.
Appreciate you. Carter says this. Let's bring in, oh God, just the first part of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this one. Okay, let's just read it. Carter. What's up, Carter? Let's bring back Josh Rosen. At least he had a better record with Steve Wilkes. Left out. Just kidding. Okay. Whew. Sheesh. I wouldn't mind calling Gruden or Matt Patricia. You know, Gruden, I'm down with. I just don't know if Gruden is ever going to come back to the NFL. I don't know if he's ever coming back to the NFL. I truly feel like he's blackballed. I truly feel like John Gruden is blackballed. Is there anything on Gruden at all? Chucky, anything? Let me see. I don't see anything on Gruden at all. And I'm very shocked about that. I feel like he's blackballed, to be real with you. Yeah, I don't see anything on Gruden at all. It's actually pretty shocking. He's a good head coach, man. He's a good head coach. Obviously, the things with the emails, it's kind of hard to overcome. But yeah, another name out there, John Gruden. But I also look at Michael Bidwell as a guy that really pays attention to his persona and how he looks like in the world of the NFL. I just don't know how he would like the way it made him look to the rest of his peers. But hey, man, I'm down with the John Gruden. I'm down with that. But I don't see anything on Gruden at all. At all. Let me give some love real quick to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Let's do that real quick. Let's get to the point here where we give some love on over to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. The guys that are keeping the lights on. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, and fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Use promo code AZSF. You can get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. Everything will be in the description below of the video. And on top of that, you will also be getting a free $20 entry, just like that. If you want to use it, you got no money to spend, no worries. We got $20 for you right here. Using my promo code AZSF gets you $20 by using my promo code AZSF. Make sure you check them out. Proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going. We got Herbert doubling down, saying Kubiak equals Ben Johnson. Yeesh. I mean, Clint Kubiak, wasn't he what has he done? I know he also a head coach. No, I'm thinking of a different person. Okay. Gary Kubiak I'm thinking of. Okay, so he's a son of okay, gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So Kubiak was with the Saints last year in 2024. He was a passing game coordinator in 2023 with Sam Fran in Denver. He has multiple jobs. Every year, I feel like he's finding a new place. From the Seahawks this year to the Saints last year to the 49ers passing game coordinator last year to the Broncos in 2022 to Minnesota as an offensive coordinator in 2020. This guy moves around a lot. Moves around a lot. Huh. I mean, I'm intrigued. Let's put it that way. I'm intrigued with Kubiak. If I had my choice, it would be Saleh, but that's just my choice. Randall in the chat, the usual trolling coming our way. Randall and doubling down with the troll of the day. Petsing deserves another year. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, let's go with Naeem. Naeem in the chat says, man, we got to get some tough opponents in our next year's schedule. Yeah, it's going to be brutal, man. Next year's schedule is going to be absolutely brutal for the Arizona Cardinals. But, I mean, if you bring a guy like Harbaugh, you might be favored in a few of those games. You bring a guy like Anthony Weaver, yeah, you're probably not going to be favored a lot. But, yeah, more news dropping your way. It's probably going to come in swarms, and I mean swarms of news coming your way. So if you guys haven't done so already, smack the like button on this video and subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 19K. 19K. That's it. That's it. 19K is what we're trying to hit, and you guys can help me out. So subscribe it up. And yeah, a lot of news coming our way. It seems like it kind of slowed down right now, but maybe by the end of this day, we'll get some more information, some new guys to obviously talk about. Right now, the big guys I think that people really want is either Kubiak or Saleh, at least what I've been seeing so far. But here we go. We got Monarch ending it. Last super chat here of the day. He said, wait, don't go anywhere yet. He said, I got you. 1 second. Monarch coming up here saying this. 24 Count Warrior making the greatest point. $18 million paid by the Ravens for Harbaugh for 2 years. Give him $22 million for 5 years, and Ravens away 36 of it. I did see somewhere out there that the Ravens have to pay a portion of his contract. I did see that, and I think it was Schrager talking about that. The fact that they do... I thought that would only be into play if they traded him. Because obviously he's still under contract, but they fired him, right? So, like, if they fired him and they mutually decided to part ways, what does that contract look like? Do the Ravens truly have to pay a portion of that? I don't know. I don't know. So it's a very valid point. Very, very valid point. So let me read it again. 24 Count Warrior makes a greatest point. $18 million being paid by the Ravens for Harbaugh for 2 years. Gave him $22 million for 5 years, and the Ravens away low 36 of it. Yep. Absolutely. There's new emojis for you guys to use. Absolutely. We got that Larry Fitzgerald emoji to use right there. So make sure you use the Larry. I did that. I got Michael Wilson as well. I ended up having to get rid of Gannon because it was getting a little wild the past couple times. So yeah, absolutely appreciate you guys for being here. But let's see. Let's see how it all shakes out, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank every single one of you guys for being here, smacking the like button, for subscribing, for supporting the channel. Always remember, this is a one-man crew. What I do here is just one man running everything. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the graphics, everything is done by yours truly. The shorts, everything is me. Don't got a company behind it, just me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody supporting me. I thank you so very much. All right, we're going to be closing up shop right here. We do got a video coming out probably within the next 10-15 minutes, so make sure you check that out once it is dropped. We got a lot to dive into moving forward, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and as always, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals. Later.